just catching up on a story that we talked about, people protesting Zephyr Teachout at a time where Andrew Cuomo, has he publicly made any appearances yet? Apparently, he called Mika Brzezinski personally to explain why he wasn't going to come on to do an interview because he didn't want to get caught up in the whole 2016 presidential questions. I'm sure. Zephyr Teachout will be on this program tomorrow.
He had an
Wednesday.
appearance yesterday.
Oh, he did?
In Buffalo.
Yes. So good for
He
him.
delivered a feisty and unrepentant defense of his handling of the anti-corruption panel he created and then abruptly shut down.
Well, it's his panel. He can do with it what he wants. Don't you realize that corruption had all gone away in this state? He doesn't need no stinking panel. Meanwhile, last week we reported that some casual Friday attired protesters had showed up at a Zephyr Teachout rally, and the folks at Business Insider had noticed that these people who were showing up at numerous Zephyr Teachout events. As you know, that some of the Business Insider people had followed these protesters and noticed that one of them had an SL Green identification card. And then the other one they followed back to NYU, where the protester then cussed out Business Insider as being everything that was wrong with society. In a conversation with Business Insider on Friday evening, a spokesperson for Cuomo's campaign confirmed that the mysterious protesters were, quote, affiliated with the governor's political operation. Some folks there were volunteers on the campaign, the spokesperson said. They're affiliated with the campaign. Volunteers. The Cuomo campaign's admission of involvement in the protest came shortly after Business Insider informed the operatives working on the campaign we had identified several of the protesters and uncovered evidence on social media linking them with the governor's political operation. Well, kudos to the Cuomo campaign for, at the very least, admitting what had already been proved to them. Perhaps their political operation should also get the hint. Campaign manager Mike Boland of Zephyr Teachout's campaign said it wasn't surprising. He writes, he said, I've never been protested by a group of protesters adhering to a strict dress code, so that seems about right. Boland also pointed to the Cuomo campaign's legal challenge to Teachout's residency, which was filed in court by two young men affiliated with the campaign, Austin Storlicht and Harris Weiss. The lawsuit is attempting to get Teachout thrown off the ballot for residency issues because, among other things, she made a campaign contribution listing a Vermont address as her own in 2012. Many of the protesters at Teachout's event Thursday carried signs referencing the legal challenge. It's not surprising he's basically put two interns, I think they're like 18 or 19-year-old interns, to sue us in court. I couldn't imagine the idea I would go to my interns and be like, you should be a plaintiff in my lawsuit. It's totally weak. It's totally pathetic. I hope Cuomo asked their parents because they probably still live at home. Oh, yes. The idea, though, it is pretty funny. The idea of sort of random Cuomo protesters, people who are so enamored with Andrew Cuomo that they would go out and protest on their own is indeed pretty far-fetched.